4, on the title sheet, their section of notes states that Union Township is going to take over the sewers as part of this plan, which is misrepresented, I believe.
No, they were probably told that.
Well, they wanted to. They tried.
But again,
They lost.
they know that.
Yeah.
Why would you submit without at least looking to see what has to be changed?
Probably because back when this was first submitted back in 2021, I believe
They were still hoping.
Yeah.
they were still,
Well, okay,
This
but still,
whole
they're
plan,
now giving it to us now.
but this
You
whole,
know, anybody in their right mind's gonna relook at, they know that that's not the case. It's not like it's a surprise, they know that. You would think that they would have looked over this and fixed it, stuff like that.
sometimes people don't have enough eraser on their pencil.
Or they think people were stupid.
Well, maybe they didn't know. They don't probably
But
follow
down by the
politics
creek
of Union
there.
Township. Maybe they don't know
Area.
that that's not the plan.
okay,
They
the
were
main
told by
line
the
is not
engineer at the
there,
time that they
parallels
were.
the creek.
Yeah.
So by hook or crook, other than elevation, maybe on this back side, depending on the slope away, there's gonna have to be a deep cut or something to gravity feed these over, cause there's no sewers on McClellan Road.
Right.
All right, so there's a problem with the top sheet. So these are this is something that could be fixed easily.
Quickly.
Which, and I agree with you, Lori. It should have been done initially the right way. I mean, if someone's doing something, to be diligent, making sure they're in compliance. I agree with you.
Exactly.
When I made the comment, I was just trying to whatever.
5 is straightforward. It's requesting a legal description for the property and the right-of-way. That's standard. We'll need that if for a future deed of dedication. 6, highway occupancy permit. They state on their title sheet that the highway occupancy permit is required. I agree. If they're going to be making improvements to Walter Long Road, which extends to the intersection with SR 88, that would require a permit.
Which is partly owned by the Long brothers and partly owned by fed government.
2 private
That
entities,
was, I
yes.
was gonna bring that up eventually and ask about that.
Yes.
From Blossom Lane, I think that's Blossom Lane. Blossom, how are you second? Let's say Blossom. From Blossom Lane over to Route 88, the paperwork from the courthouse indicates the feds on it. Okay, then from Blossom Lane up to the gate, it's owned by the Long brothers, who are two nice guys.
Yep. Okay, 7, grading permits required. That's in progress. However, we have similar sticking points with respect to Walter Long Road on both this submission as well as the grading permit that's required for this. Our office issued our grading permit review letter at the end of August. We're still working on
Have you had
communicating back and forth. They've addressed some of our concerns, Dennis, but not all.
When was the last time you communicated with them regarding the grading permit? When was the last date there was communication between each?
Monday.
Monday this week?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is my concern, just like with the demo, I know you're still reviewing it, how do you issue a grading permit until the site's approved?
And
Wondering that.
that's my main concern with the grading permit. As I mentioned earlier, they're showing proposed contours on the high and low side of Walter Long Road. They don't own that property. So I'm not comfortable making any recommendation to the township that we authorize grading activities of that nature.
You can't.
I would not advise that.
You can't authorize grading on someone else's property.
Why not?
So, I think ownership of Walter Long Road is problematic from the standpoint of this subdivision as well as the grading permit. And until ownership is resolved, I think we have issues with both.
Question, from Blossom down.
Yeah.
There is nothing that Mineral Beach subdivision has to do with it It's just their access piece.
So Lori, their land development drawings, which show everything that they're proposing to build as part of this plan, they show widening of Walter Long Road from the intersection over the stream
Okay.
for that 200 feet
Ooh.
between Bloxham Lane to 88.
But I thought there, if you look at the minutes for, in October of 21, is that what it is, Michelle?
Yeah.
Where they go back and forth about the width of the road and so forth, there's motions being made back and forth, and one motion says they're gonna do A, then they come back and they go with B and so forth.
And I wanted to do it the hammerhead versus a cul-de-sac.
Right,
Right,
so,
it did say making it the township standards from the intersection of 88 to the Walter Long manufacturing. Then they changed it from a cul-de-sac to allowing a hammerhead.
Okay.
because what happened, they wanted to, the developer wanted to, minimize the width of the road, like, for lack of better words, rather than what called the township specifications.
So the minutes from October 27, 21, approved November 10, 21. Approve Mineral Beach Phase 1 preliminary final land development, conditioned upon satisfying Harshman CD Group's letter, and also conditioned upon improving Walter Long Road from SR 88 up to the entrance gate to Walter Long Manufacturing, and a cul-de-sac being constructed at the entrance gate to Walter Long Manufacturing. The road will be brought up to township standards with the intent to be dedicated to Union Township.
All right.
And then there's one more thing, Lori, quickly. The next motion is Supervisor Lawson discussing concerns on the cartway, and the developer withdrew their request to reduce the cartway from 24 feet to 21 feet. So I don't believe that, I don't know, I wasn't here, but
You don't believe what?
I think the road was intended to be 24 feet wide, not 21 feet wide. I believe the developer withdrew their request to make the road 21 feet.
All right, my question is still from Bloxham to 88, what gives the developer the right to do anything with that piece of property when it's federally owned?
In my niche, nothing.
Nothing. They would need it, Lori, I think they need an easement for
So
both.
they need to understand that too.
They need an easement for the federally owned portion from 88 to Bloxham, and they need an easement for the privately owned portion above.
And I think that needs to be, I wanna say clarified.
Okay,
You know, they totally need to understand, we're talking two sets of people that they have to, you know, when you read this, it doesn't sound like that, it just sounds like it's one person owns water line or one entity owns water line.
Sure.
But it needs to be clarified and understood. They can't just get it from Walter Lang,
Mhm.
they have to get it from the bottom part too.
You keep saying Walt Lang, you're messing me up.
Long,
Walter
long,
You keep saying
long.
Walt Lang, and I'm like,
And Lang Road.
Yeah, well, that brings back.
Oh,
that brings
memories.
back Bad memories.
Well, go back to the federal portion of the road. It's owned, if I'm correct, the eminent domain, they took the land. It's not an easement, so they would have, the better way for them to do it is to get ownership of that property from the feds.
Right.
And then do a deed of dedication for that property over to the town.
But they have to realize they have to
Right.
do it.
They gotta do it.
They realize that, they do. They realized that back in 29, when did they do that traffic impact study?
19 with Brunzel,
With
when
CEC?
Brunzel was a developer.
With CEC did traffic impact study, right?
Yes.
So they, in 2019, when you go towards the back of that impact study, it mentions about the roads and everything else and the issues with the roads. So they knew in 2019 that
But
Walter
yet
Long was,
it's
So they knew when they approved
2023
the
and they
plan.
haven't done
I
anything.
knew when they bought it.
is that?
And it was approved, I guess, in between now and then.
Well, who fixes the bridge?
It's a court.
That's a question.
Hmm?
Bridge is, that
might
road
wanna-
is owned by the Fed, the bridge is owned by the Fed.
You might want to express what
Let
Mr.
the
Long
feds
said
fix
about
the
the
bridge.
bridge.
I was going to ask, like, when was the last time that
Long's
even was
concerned
paved
about the
or
bridge.
anything, you know?
But it would be
Well, it's not a
catastrophic.
pavement problem,
Say-
at
Michelle's
this point, the
question.
bridge is a structural problem.
The bridge would be structural. yes.
Michelle, what were you saying, Michelle? Go ahead.
David Long expressed to the township that if something would happen to that bridge, it would be catastrophic to his business as well as the church. So he was not interested in selling or giving his part of Walter Long unless he had assurances about that bridge. Because it would shut his business down if it failed.
What is that bridge? Is it a culvert? Is this a big pipe?
Big pipe,
It's a box culvert with a corrugated metal pipe.
it's rotting.
The invert of the corrugated metal pipe is not in great condition, as you might expect from a structure that's probably 70 years old.
It wasn't.
We lived here over almost 50 and it's never been touched.
It was in bad shape 20 years ago when I owned the property that Sunoco, or the Subway's sitting on,
Yeah.
because I used to play around back then.
So,
I did look at the bridge, that we did a culvert assessment. Surface level only, obviously, we didn't look at any, I didn't go underneath it or anything like that, but yeah, the upstream abutment is cracked, it's misaligned, it's, needs attention.
so to fix that bridge.
You're gonna ask me how much it'll cost.
I would say at least just to, again, I haven't looked at it. I know in Canton Township, we just did 2 bridges. Similar to that. Probably cost us $500,000. Each.
I think you could easily spend that, fixing or replacing that bridge. When you think about permitting and design and, if you had to do a full-scale replacement, could be north of that.
Not to mention getting the church to church on time when you're, what are you gonna do temporarily for the church while you do that?
Or the business.
That bridge takes some deep water sometimes with them bad rains.
You could get, over in West Pike Run Township, we had a bridge go up, we had some big flooding. And you can rent
Mhm.
bridges to go across the creek, but that costs money also.
But maybe that's a problem if there's only one way in and one way out.
Yeah,
That's another problem, because if something would happen right there and residents would have to evacuate,
Well,
they're not gonna get out.
Walter Long's not telling you the truth, really. Walter Long ends over to, McClellan Road. They own the property, they front on McClellan Road. Believe me, if that bridge goes down, I'm sure a bulldozer will be coming off of McClellan to keep that operation
Unfortunately,
going.
the property there is in Peters.
it's no longer our
No, it
municipality.
isn't.
Yeah, I
It's
think
in
we.
Peters.
There's a
It is
parcel
in
of
Peters.
land.
Their property in McClellan's in Peters, cause he was
Yes.
issuing a building permit over there.
No, it
I
isn't.
thought it
It's
was
a section
Peters,
in
yeah.
Union.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh, apparently they have a section in Union.
They have another parcel behind, I think John's right, behind the parcel where it has the road on it, they have a parcel behind that. But I'd have to look at the zoning, or the parcel map again to know if it fronts on McClellan.
Right.
I'm not sure that it does. I think it's the other piece behind that fronts on McClellan.
Some way, somehow, they get a
They
driveway.
probably figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
So,
In fact, it's,
last item on this list is the list of modifications that they requested.